Well, hello. It has been a long while since I've posted anything here on YouTube, and I have a confession to make. It's actually been a long while since I've created in my art journal, and that is highly unusual for me. I normally create nearly every day. Um, and so it's been a really strange season. I don't quite know what's going on. Some of it's environmental, so we've had a change around in the house, and my supplies have changed from being in a wardrobe in my bedroom actually, to being down here in the cupboard behind me, and they're all higgledy-piggledy, and so I just don't have that automatic I know where to lay my hands on things. But that's kind of like a bit of an excuse really, isn't it? Because you don't really need a lot to sit down and create. So I really wanted to get back into it, but the longer I left it, the harder it became. And so today I decided to set myself a challenge. I had to be out the house by a certain time, so I didn't have a long amount of time. So I decided I was going to challenge myself to create in 5-minute slots, and the first 5 minutes was going to be collecting some supplies, so having a good rummage and just pulling out anything that excited me, because that's a way in, isn't it? We get excited about pretty colours and supplies, so just 5 minutes to grab a random selection of things that excited me. Another 5 minutes to sit down and play with them, so without any pressure, without it having to be deep and meaningful, but just to start playing on the page with those supplies for 5 minutes. Then another 5 minutes of written journaling. Written journaling is just so key to the process for me. It really helps me to start to process some of those emotions. And I really wanted to give space for anything to come up on the page. So a whole 5 minutes just to do some writing on the page, and then a final 5 minutes to finish the page off with some kind of focal point, maybe a focal image or some words in the last 5 minutes. So a total of 20 minutes. I had about half an hour, so I really had to go for it. And I filmed it, hurrah! And I'm going to share what I did with you. I've got some more news for you as well, so if you watch to the end, I will be telling you some more exciting news about what's going on in my life. Okay, so welcome to my new art cupboard, and I'm going to spend 5 minutes just grabbing any supplies that speak to me, that excite me. So I'm going to have a quick rummage in here and see what I can find. Now I've got my supplies, my second 5 minutes is about play. I could have done anything. I mean, so many things come under the category of play, so many different art techniques. But because I am feeling tentative and not quite sure about how to get started, I just go to my comfort zone, which is neutral collage. So I've already got these little bits of collage papers torn up, and I'm just sticking them down randomly on the page, and this is probably my number one way of starting a page, and so it feels very familiar and safe to me. Unfortunately, it did take a rather long time to glue down all these pieces, and used up most of my 5 minute slot just by gluing down some collage, which was quite shocking to me, really. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm running out of time already. And the playtime overall just went so quickly.
And what I learned was most of the supplies that I had got out to use, I didn't have time to use. And so the excuses I've been making to myself about, oh, I can't get creating because I don't have access to a wide variety of supplies, really, that excuse is nonsense, because you really don't need a whole load of different stuff to create something. I'm moving on to paint now. This paint is in a little paint tester pot, like a Dulux house paint tester pot. It's got a built-in roller, which really wasn't rolling very well at all. So it just ended up kind of just scraping and scratching the paint around. I had to let go of any sort of perfectionism or idea that this page was going to be kind of controlled and pretty at this stage, because I just had to kind of go with it. And that's a good thing. Anything you can introduce to your practice, which means it gets a bit messy, it's less tightly controlled, means that you're going to start to loosen up and hopefully start to let go of control and enjoy the process a bit more. So adding some, this is actually instant coffee, just starting to enjoy it now, just splashing some of that around. And I think finally I just have time to add a few splatters of fluorescent pink ink, which is the latest addition to my art supplies, which is really fun and joyful. So, if you've got supplies that you love and make you smile, then it's always good to get those out if you're feeling a bit stuck. It's worth saying that in between each 5-minute stint, I did have a little rest, which was just a practical thing. It gave my page a chance to dry, which it actually does quite quickly because I'm working over a radiator here. And just gave me a little chance to settle as well. I was kind of like, the countdown of the clock was kind of getting my heart racing a little bit, and I don't like to feel like that when I'm creating. So just having a little 5-minute break in between each section really helped this process too. So I'm moving on to written journaling here, and I'm writing to God about something that I often end up talking to him about, which is the fact that I often feel that other people kind of, I don't know how to describe it, they kind of like unburden themselves onto me, if you like, or whatever kind of emotions are going on. I'm the one where they feel they can kind of let it all out. And that had certainly been true of my family, my immediate family this morning. I just felt really kind of a bit bruised and battered by just the normal kind of household craziness of getting 2 children ready for school. Nothing out of the ordinary, but a lot of emotions flying high and just feeling like they'd all kind of clung to me. It's like almost like things kind of stuck on me from these interactions with other people. I don't know if you can relate to that at all, but it's something I often feel, and I come to God about it, and I'm like, oh Lord, I want to be compassionate. I want to be kind and loving to people, but do I have to really take on other people's burdens and emotions? Is that really what it's about? And I have to keep having this conversation with God, because I think I believed once upon a time, yes, that is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to carry other people's rubbish around with me, and that's kind of my duty as a Christian. And the Lord has gently told me over the years, actually, I'm not supposed to carry anything. I'm supposed to take it all to him, whether it's my burdens or other people's burdens. It's not supposed to stop with me. And that has always been one of the big roles of art journaling in my life, has been to help me let go of that stuff, to help me bring it to God. That journaling, written journaling, or expressing myself in marks and paint and whatever, is a way of letting go of some of that stuff that I feel like I've picked up and I'm carrying around with me. I've finished my written journaling. I'm just adding a little bit of gesso now just to smudge some of that wording because I don't really want it legible in any way on the page. And in my final 5 minutes, I want to try and find some sort of image or focal point and maybe some words to go on my page too. So these are just the supplements of the Sunday paper that we got this week. Nothing special. I'm just flicking through them and I don't have a whole lot of time to think about it. So I really am just pulling out a couple of images that are the first ones that kind of jump out at me from the page. And I pulled out one there of a lady leaning, and I like that idea of letting God take the weight of these things. That's what that image was saying to me. But I also find this other image of this woman washing her hair, and it reminded me of. I used to watch an old film with my mom called South Pacific. Anybody remember that one? And there was a song, "I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair." Leave me a comment below if you remember that old classic. Yeah, so that the idea of kind of coming to God just to be washed clean. Obviously, we are washed clean of our sin. Which is completely important and necessary, but there's a sense that God can cleanse us of anything that we're holding on to that we're not meant to, anything that is not of Him. And that could be wrong thoughts and wrong emotions, some of which we might have attracted from other people if we're empaths like I happen to be. So I loved the idea of water washing those away because obviously water is a metaphor for the Spirit, the water of life, Jesus, and the idea of that water coming and washing away those feelings. I've got here something called a snippet roll. It's just a load of different scraps of paper that are sewn together, and I picked that up as one of my supplies because it was something kind of pre-made. It's always handy to have pre-made little bits that you can kind of stick on when you're working quickly, because it saves me having to actually take something to the sewing machine. It's already done, so that's why I picked that up, and it's actually goes quite nicely on this page. And love the idea of everything just being held together by Jesus, which is what it reminds me of, all those little bits. And finally, just enough time to grab some words very quickly. Definitely don't have time to get my stamps out, so I'm going to have to go with whatever words I've already got. So I went with the words empathy and compassion from this sheet. So yeah, real sort of acknowledging my ambivalence towards these words, empathy and compassion. Really, just I really easily suffer from compassion fatigue, and I don't want to. I want to be a compassionate person, but I don't want to hold on to other people's burdens in ways that I shouldn't do, and I need God's strength to do that, to weigh those things, so to be able to listen and hold space compassionately, but also to let go of those things to God as soon as I can. So those are the words I've got: empathy, compassion, and strength. I got as well, I didn't write it on, but the word stronger when wet came into my mind as I was doing this. And some fabrics, I believe natural fabrics like cotton, are actually stronger when wet, and we're all stronger and more able to deal with the day when we are drenched in God, when we're drenched in His Word, when we're drenched in the Holy Spirit. So those were my thoughts as I created this page.
Hey, I made a page. I'm so glad to have broken through that procrastination or artist block or whatever you want to call it, and actually got down to some creating. Not my most favourite page I've ever made, but that doesn't matter, does it? The important thing is to do it, to start. And do you know what? This evening I just wanted to go back and do some more, and that's the thing, isn't it? Once you've got over that hurdle of just breaking in that blank page and going for it, the gates of creativity open, and you'll find yourself wanting to do even more. So yes, I promised to fill you in on my news. So one of the reasons that I haven't had a lot of time or energy recently is the fact that we might be moving house, which is really exciting. We found a really beautiful house just a couple of miles away that has a lot more space. So you can imagine I'm very excited about the possibilities of having a dedicated art space maybe, and even space to host people, maybe run workshops and things like that. So exciting. So yeah, I would appreciate your prayers for that process to go smoothly, and me to find the energy from somewhere in order to get organised to do that. So yeah, it's lovely to catch up with you guys. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Have a go at that process yourself. 5 minutes finding your supplies, 5 minutes play, 5 minutes journaling, 5 minutes finishing off your page, and let me know how it works for you. Lots of love. Do remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, to keep in touch with me, and hopefully it won't be too long before I'm back again. Okay, see you soon. Bye.